Thank you. I want to welcome you all for the tonight meeting for the Wareham Zoning Board of Appeal. This tonight, July 9, 2025. And we are at room 520, Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham. We're also on Zoom. Passcode is 90796. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I make a roll call. My far right, Mr. Troy Larson, Ms. Varga Devenese. My far left, Mr. Chris Conti, and Richard Sample, and myself, Nazi Al-Khalasi, the chair. On the preliminary businesses, the minutes, who read the minutes?
I believe Chris took care of that.
I read the minutes. I made some changes and submitted it.
You know if it's been good?
Everything looked good after my changes.
You know if she said it's
She
all...
said it looked good.
You know if it's reflected here? Roy, did you look at it?
I looked at the revisions Chris did.
Looks like she changed it.
Yes. This was missing before I put that in there.
Yep.
Is Jim online, young lady? No.
Supposed to be?
Look okay to you?
Maybe.
Looks like she made.
Looks like the changes are
Changes are made, yeah.
All right. Can I get a motion?
I make, go ahead.
To approve the minutes of June 25th, 2025?
Motion to approve the minutes by Chris. To have a second?
Second.
Second by Rich. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Myself, Nazi, aye. Okay, that's good enough. VMB 34-24 VMB Properties LLC, Town Tavern, 3138 Cranberry Highway. Discussion and possible vote on temporary occupancy to include deck seating. You doing? Just for the record?
David Barry?
All right, what brings you here tonight?
I was hoping to, I stopped into the zoning board. I forget the gentleman's name in the planning department that took over for Ken.
Josh.
Josh and I were chit-chatting on Monday morning in reference to all the, last time we were here, in reference to all the zoning requirements that we had put forth on with the deck and all the exterior features that were out there. Everything other than the portion of the landscaping on the zoning requirements has been completed, and I was hoping and trying to get the extension of the temporary occupancy to allow the deck to be opened. Unfortunately, I've kind of missed Memorial Day and 4th of July. We were hoping to try to at least capture at least maybe a month or two of the deck itself, because we're losing a lot of people to some of the other surrounding towns to go out and have some dining experiences outside. So I had chatted with him in reference to that, and he says, well, I'd love to get you on the agenda so that we can propose it and speak to the board and see if it's something that we could take into account.
All right, has the, Phil, do you mind coming to? Just your name for the record, Phil.
Sure. For the record, Phil Cordero from Allen and Major Associates.
Did you have a chance to look at these plans if they comply with the approved plan?
I did, Mr. Chairman, and we did have an occasion to do a site visit to review everything, and at this point, they are in compliance with the plans. With the noted exception, they have not installed the landscaping, which is why they're here, and they still need to do the DOT curbing in front of the site.
That's actually been completed.
I'm sorry, the DOT curbing complete. My apologies. So just the landscaping.
Just the landscape.
The granite was supposed to be all across the front of the property and the concrete for Cherokee Drive.
We were here, Mr. Barry was here several meetings ago where there was a discussion that took place to get the board's permission to install Cape Cod berm
inside
curb.
the parking
On
lot.
the inside.
Yeah, but
which
the
is what they've
outside's
done.
supposed to be vertical granite all along the property and concrete,
On Cranberry Highway, yes.
the whole property.
That wasn't on.
That was what's
just-
proposed.
So the discussion, Mr. Chair, was that he would do curbing along Cranberry Highway in the MassDOT layout. There was the discussion as to whether the side streets could receive curbing or not, but I don't think that ever materialized into a condition or on the plan.
I'm very sure, and we were clear that granite curbing has to be installed along the highway
Yes,
and concrete curbing along Cherokee. They came back, his engineer, a few weeks ago, and he said there was some discrepancy that we made him do also granite inside. He wants a Cape Cod berm, which is we agreed and we gave him a waiver.
that's correct.
Do you have the plan from previous, what's approved? Do you have the
Yeah.
plan what's approved?
Yeah, the approval on the plan that we have and the one that, because that was a question that we had when we walked the property itself with Phil and my engineer. The Cape Cod berm was the only thing that was proposed initially with granite on the inside of the property. On the initial on the approved plans, it was inside, and then we had come and asked the board in reference to not, because it's on our property, if we could do the Cape Cod berm, and it was approved to do so.
But the inside, the town can give you a waiver. By the highway, we can't.
But it was never proposed on the plans that were submitted and approved.
I personally made it a condition, unless somebody missed to write it down.
So, Mr. Chair, I don't have the permit or the conditions, but just for clarity, along Cranberry Highway, within the state layout, any work there is vertical granite curbing. Inboard of the site, on the approved plans, along Cranberry Highway on the private side was actually also vertical granite curbing, which ultimately got released by this board.
Which is we okay with that.
And then along Cherokee Drive was all Cape Cod berm curb within the site with no curbing on Cherokee Drive.
I disagree. Do you have a decision on that hearing?
I do not have the decision, Mr. Chair.
I remember discussion about the side road and the parking that goes on all the time. I don't remember
No,
about the curbing.
that was the other side.
Yeah,
You recall?
I think from what I remember was there was definitely, the granite was on the outside, and then they came back in about this and around the Cherokee Drive on the inside on their
Correct.
property. As far as the granite goes, I didn't hear anything getting released or
Right.
scratched from,
And we
Yeah,
discussed
the granite curb, on the approved plans that we had from the very last time, I think back in August of last year, the approved plans had granite curbing closing off the original entryway alongside the additional, right on Cranberry Highway. That was done and completed in granite curbing. And then the other proposal was initially stated to be granite curbing in the parking facility on the Cohasset side. That was when we came back to the board and referenced, could it be the Cape Cod berm, in which case it was approved to do the Cape Cod berm. And the only portion of granite curbing that was on the approved plans was the curving that comes on the vertical curbing there, the kind of the horseshoe when you're driving into the entryway.
I
Because right after, before we came
I
for
know,
our...
but when did you apply for, when did you go on the agenda? Yesterday, today?
Monday.
I don't know. See, the board, I'm not comfortable vote on unless, I know for a fact I would not let her fly. No way. I would want to see the video, I want to see the plans where we approved and the conditions, unless you could dig them out on your computer.
can we ask her to see if anybody's got their hand up at the,
Where? Yeah, no?
oh, well, I believe Sonia's,
Sonia's on?
she said she had her hand raised. I don't know what's going on.
Unless we see the conditions and the proposed plan, this is why we like to have things a week prior, so we could go through them at least, take a quick glance.
I was here in reference to, as I stated, the gentleman from the planning was the one that said, I want you in front of them this
We probably
Wednesday.
wanted to help out, which is great. We don't mind helping out, but we don't mind giving something we didn't agree on. That's my view.
Yeah, I know, like I said, from the plans that we have had it has nothing in reference on our plans that were approved of any granite curbings on the plans whatsoever, other than the front of, the front entryway that was installed.
So, again, this is, I thought we did make a rule about, well, not a rule, but we were trying to adhere to 2 weeks beforehand. And we're starting to get all this stuff again, getting shot the day, hours before the meeting and stuff, and we're not having a chance to cover it. So, again, I'd like to try and help out, but, I mean,
I
this
know
is
I
too...
covered-
And I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure that the granite was supposed to be on the outside, so...
The granite, I mean, it is on the outside of what was initially proposed. The granite is on the outside on Cranberry Highway, from the entryway to the very end of where Chippewa Drive is. That is granite curbing that's on the exterior of the of the plan that was,
Along the whole highway, we have discussed.
yeah, the plans that we had, like I said, we'll go back obviously and look at it, but the plans that we've had from day one do not have any granite curbing on the plan itself.
Bill, you know, it's a standard procedure, don't you? State highway has, the layout has granite.
So
It's
any,
standard, there's no way.
Mr. Chair, I do. Anything along the state highway does require granite curbing. In this case, he had the returns coming into the entries into the restaurant and the curb cut closure, that all had to be vertical granite curbing, which he does have the vertical granite curbing out there for those portions of the site.
Are you sure this is what we approved?
So
Yes or no?
So I don't have the decision. So if you believe that it got written as
And
a
if I may
condition of
add-
the permit, that's what I can't confirm. What I can confirm is what Mr. Barry is saying relative to the plans that were approved. That is correct.
You have the plan that was approved?
I do. If you would, you,
Yeah, please.
This is why I have a hard time being on Zoom. You can have your hand up, you can try to get in, and it's just not working. It's not a feasible way to try and do a meeting.
I don't know if they can hear me.
There's Sonia's on there now,
Yay,
so I don't
Sonia.
know if she
Yes,
wasn't...
Sonia. Can you speak louder, please?
I apologize, I'm actually at another meeting that I had agreed to attend. I just wanted to, I know that you were asking about the decision on the prior agreement that you guys had agreed to on the curbing that you're discussing, and I actually just came across that this afternoon. I thought that I had attached to the applicant's request. I can actually forward that to you tomorrow if you'd like to condition that decision.
I'm not sure what she said.
I can't hear her. Noah, can we get that louder by any chance?
How's that? Try again.
Try again, Sonia, please.
You guys might have to turn off.
I was just confirming that I have that decision on that change that the board approved at the last meeting regarding the curbing.
I think, Sonia, we might be looking for the original conditions because from what Nazi's saying, he feels like it was along the side street as well, not just Cranberry Highway.
But it was just at the last meeting that the board agreed to accept that change on the curbing from granite to the berm.
Right, on the interior of the property, but on the exterior, it's not the case, is what he's saying.
Right, I don't have it in front of me to be able to discuss, but I know it was along the inside, correct, on the Cherokee Street side.
I mean, it sounds like we can't,
Can we-
if it's a serious question, how do we want to proceed with, how do we want to proceed with the occupancy? If it's not a condition,
Yeah.
and it turns out that we don't have that as a condition, how do we want to? talk
I
about
understand
how we
fully.
vote
I'm
if
just
that were the
stating
case?
that I do have that
You made a
decision
performance
based
bond.
on
We're gonna get
the
into
changes on that plan.
Yeah. Temporary CO. I mean, the gentleman, we helped them out a lot, which is okay. We have
Correct.
no problem. It's been on temporary CO since he opened. It's been more than 2 years. We'd like to put it to bed, but we'd like to get it right finally. If we don't fix it right now, it's always gonna be like this. Well, then again, I'm one vote.
That makes sense, though.
I'm not comfortable voting unless I see the video and the minutes. There's no way. Not only I would agree to it, standard procedure has to be concrete curbing by the highway and concrete curbing by the town road. That's the standard procedure. If we give it, there's something,
I mean, I'm only referencing what the plans never changed from the point other than the deck swap and then the granite curbing changing to,
well, the granite curbing, then your engineer played the tricky one. He put the curbing inside, trick us, that's that's the concrete, the granite curbing, came back, said, oh, it's the inside, I want
I mean, we,
curb berm.
with the last, prior to the last approval from the board, we took the plans, I met with Phil, we met with the engineer, we walked the site from,
I'm not saying that he didn't, and he
I
didn't do by
understand.
what the plan. But when he came back, we said, when your engineer came back a few weeks ago, I forget when, we said clearly, and we could review the tapes and everything, we said, and I told him, granite on the outside. And he said, no, you guys also said granite on the inside. I said, okay, our bad, you could have Cape Cod berm.
see, the plans themselves, from day one, all the plans that we have that were submitted from day one show the granite curbing on the inside of the property line. The only exterior granite curbing that was proposed, other than the internal, was the ones that were on Cranberry Highway to the right and left of the closeout, and where the sign was, from day one's plans that were proposed to your board. Those were always proposed on there as granite, and that's when we came through and said, we would love to, we'll put the granite out in the front because it's on the street, but the plans that were approved showed the granite curbing from day one on the inside of our property. That's why we had come and asked about the Cape Cod berms.
Well, it's a new engineer then, he knows better. The state does not allow but the granite curbing by the I don't know what to say, you gotta go after him.
I found
What's
this in my notes.
Yeah, this is saying that we allow them to do inside the parking lot, which
Yeah,
is,
and then up at the top, I think I had that we had, just as you just said previously.
can you
the
read it
curbing.
loud, please explain it better, you could do better than me. If you don't mind.
So from my notes, we granted the request Cape Cod berm on the inside as long as we had VGC on the outside.
Which we do have the granite curbings on the outside.
Where?
All along the front of the building where the close-off of the entryway was, the close-off, the old entranceway that was there, that's all granite curbing. All the proposed granite curbing that's on the plan stayed as granite curbing. The only thing that changed was what was on the inside property. Everything else stayed granite curbing and was installed with granite curbing.
Yeah, only where you blocked, where you had an entrance, but the whole thing along the highway must be.
I'm just referencing what was approved as the plan, what was approved from the meeting that we had. It specifically specified the granite curbing was always on the inside on Cherokee and on the front side of the Route 6. And then the,
On Cherokee, we allowed concrete because the town requests only concrete, and the highway standard procedures as well as the town is granite on the highway, concrete and the
I'm just
town. I understand. Well, guess what? We can't give you a variance for it. That requires a variance. That requires a variance from bylaw, and you didn't get a variance not to install concrete curbing or vertical curbing. That requires a variance. That requires a variance.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
If we wanna not if we wanna give you, say, well, first of all, you need a variance from the state on the granite, not from us. You gotta go to state, get a variance. On the town side, you need a variance from us allowing you not to install concrete curbing.
But we came to the board and asked in reference to the
Well,
concrete.
your engineer didn't know what he's doing, he didn't present it right. If that's the case,
Well, we
but
got
I
an
don't.
we got an approval to not do granite curbing on on the proposed plan that was approved by this board. We got an approval to do Cape Cod berm because it was on inside
Am I
property.
explaining myself right? I'm sorry. I mean,
I think so.
Either I'm not explaining myself right, or
I'm
there's a
just
language
wondering,
barrier.
There must be, maybe I don't know the terms, but I'm just referencing the actual plan that was approved by the board. We followed the rules of the plan that was proposed and was approved upon. We followed that to the standards. The only condition I have not been able to do so was the landscaping. I'm trying to beautify everything we can in that entire area. And all I was coming for today was to try to simply get another month of just getting the occupancy out to the deck. I've done everything that you guys have requested. I've come to this board for the last year and a half. I've done every single thing to the board standards, and I've complied with every single thing. I've went to every board and asked, is everything good? Are you guys in, everything we've done by the book.
So it sounds like there's a discrepancy between the specifications, if you will, and the drawing. And typically, the more stringent would hold.
But even the conditions that we have no reference to the approved plans. We followed exactly to the T. I don't have them in front of me, but we followed everything to the T.
We don't have them either. We don't have them either. We don't have the plan. And
I've literally followed every single thing we've done for the past year and a half of coming to your board. We've followed to the T. I'm not trying to go outside the box in any way, shape, or form. My family and I are literally just trying to make a living in the sense of
we're all
producing a
trying
good.
listen, we're all trying to make a living. We're not here not to let you make a living.
Can I
We
ask?
all have businesses, but
Can I
I know
ask-
what I talked about, I know what I said, and I know what the standards are. If you only need 3 votes here.
No, I understand what you
convince
said.
3
I'm just
people
going
to
by
say
the
yes to
plan.
you could have it. You're not getting my vote. What do you want to say, Chris?
So the discrepancy is on the side roads? Is that where it was?
Side and the front highway. I like to see, personally, I want to review the tapes and review the minutes and go back to the plan that was approved. We reference the plan and see what happened. I mean, you had it, with all due respect, the engineer you had, we always had to hold his hand to tell him what to do. I don't know if the board remembers. It's always coming short something. We tell him site plan, he comes in, dismiss, and I'm like, what is it? We're not gonna walk you through it. And we helped him walk through it. We helped him, we worked with him. Then he came back, said, okay, there was also a granite on the inside. We helped him, we said yes.
Can I ask a question in
Not to
reference?
mention, that Cape Cod berm, that's not a standard specs. Did you measure it? Is it 12 inches, 4 inches up?
I did not measure it,
So
no, sir.
how do, it's not a spec, I don't think, I drive by every day. That's not doesn't conform with the specs of a Cape Cod berm. With all due respect, I'm just telling you how it is. I can't give you something I don't
Can I
have.
ask a question in reference
Yes,
to
of
the
course you can.
temporary occupancy that I currently hold right now? The total number of occupancies that I currently hold for a temporary occupancy is the coverage of both the deck and the inside currently in my hand right now.
Yeah.
Does that not legally cover the deck to be able to seat the deck, being the fact that it's a 380? Because I only have 200 and some odd seats inside and the additional deck.
This is a question you ask a lawyer. I can't ask you about.
I've already done so, but I was just trying to figure out.
I personally, I can't give you temporary, personally, I don't speak for the board, I can't give you a CO for the bar. If the lawyer said you could sit outside, it's a different, completely different story.
I'm trying to respect and do exactly what you guys are requesting, and that's all I'm trying to do.
What we request and what's legal is two different things. If your lawyer come back, say we're totally illegal, and he wants to pull her off, let him pull her off, but
I'm not trying to step on anyone's
I need to look at the
toes.
plan. Phil, if you don't mind, I'm gonna review my tapes. If you guys could review the tapes, I know I was clear and adamant about it.
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned something about a bond.
Yeah.
Is that something that we should consider to let
If
this
he's
gentleman?
willing to, we need a schedule from Mr. Cordero, from Allen and Major. We need a schedule, what's left to be done, and he'll give us a schedule what it costs. You multiply it by 150%, we file it, and that's not a problem.
So because there's a discrepancy about what we believe needs to be done, that's,
Well, there would be 2 things. One is the discrepancy, and 2, we don't have an amount as we sit here tonight to establish a bond for Mr. Barry.
That's why we like things a week prior.
I'm here on the gracious
I
help
know,
of what,
because we try to help people.
and I
We
appreciate
always
that.
try to help people, it always blows in our face. That's all what it is.
I'm in the same boat. I appreciate it. I'm not here to waste anybody's time. I was here
So
to
I
just...
don't know what your wishes, you want to continue it, or you want to ask a vote? You say, you could, it's your choice. Anyone here want to speak at this matter? In favor or against? I hear no, but it's not a public hearing, so nobody knows about it, but I don't know what you like to know. You want to pull a vote? You want to continue it? What do you want to, do you want to ask? Do you want me to pull a vote, like an official vote?
Me personally, I'm not feeling comfortable putting anything on the table tonight. It's too soon. I'm trying to look at it. We don't have it covered. I'm not going to vote for this.
Chris?
I agree with Mr. Semple. I'm not comfortable voting.
Roy? Veronica?
Unfortunately.
See, I'm not the only one, so if you want to continue it until the 23rd, we'll continue it. We have to do our homework. Phil, please also review things. And we're gonna review the minute. Now, make no mistake. Let me explain, so you don't say it blows in your face after. If it comes back that we approved the plan without the granite, the commissioner can still deny you based that you don't have a variance on that. So in other words, our approval it will be defective. That's what the legal term of it, be defective approval. So he could go back, he could go out back, the commissioner could say, well, you still need a waiver and a variance from the side curbing. He
So
could
either way, I should start digging.
You should start digging, get your plans
Spending more
together,
money and-
listen to the hearings, they're online, we're gonna do it.
I mean, at the end of the day, if what we feel is, because the conditions and the plans were approved to the standards of what we have completed for work, we didn't stray from that.
Well, I don't know
Well, I'm
because
saying-
I don't have it in front of me.
What I'm saying is, if you go back, what you just referenced, if you go back, listen to everything, and you realize exactly that what we proposed and everything has been done to the standards of what we are saying has been done, and you say you approve it, I'm gonna get denied again by Mr. Turner.
I said maybe, but he's got rights. He can, as a commissioner, he can deny, he could say, well, you don't have a variance for that. He
I
can,
mean, everything came to your board, that's why I was...
correct, but you didn't, you came for a special permit, and I guess we gave you a variance for the, I forgot, I don't know what, we went through 100 hearings.
It's a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half, so I don't know what we granted then. So whatever was proposed, we granted. But we granted variance and a special permit for what you proposed, the deck and everything.
Correct.
You did not propose a variance not to install curbing.
We were coming to the board we proposed everything that we've done thus far has been proposed and completed besides the landscaping.
Then again, you heard the board. You want to say something, Phil?
No, sir.
So do you want to come back on the 23rd?
Sure.
All right, can we get a motion to continue 32-24 VMB LLC Town Tavern till the July 23rd?
So moved.
Motion by Richard, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. On the 23rd, please everybody begin on this, and I will look myself too. Thank you. For future reference, everybody listening, please file your stuff a week prior. Oh, sorry.
His Bible, he's gonna get that back.
54-23, La Cerda, 3090 Cranberry Highway. Request for an extension. Who's here for that?
Good evening, folks. My name is Robert Perry, and I'm at 191 Main Street in Wareham, and I represent these people. I can't call them applicants because you were kind enough a year ago to approve all of the permits they needed. The problem is, we're in the throes of working on the Class 2 license. Most of the work has been started here, but unfortunately, I realized a couple of weeks ago that the work that's reflected in the variances has not been. It hasn't been because of the whole issue with the Class 2 license at this point. And of course, yes, sir.
Did you state your name
I did.
for the
Robert
record?
Perry, yes.
And, okay, I didn't hear it, and thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I apologize. I'll speak up a little louder.
Yep.
Anyway, I mean, we need to preserve the variances. My memory on the variances, they were strictly to do with the landscaping on the sides of the property. We couldn't bring the landscaping all the way down to the highway because we had long-term rights-of-way going to other people up and down the highway. So we had to preserve those. We actually had to move them down closer to the highway. So we really need those variances, or we're spinning our wheels at this point. We're pretty close, I think, to getting our actual hearing on the Class 2 license. The only issue on that is, and I'm not handling it, Attorney Angus is handling that, the onset fire department is suggesting we need sprinklers in the building. I don't think they're right, but once again, I'm not handling it.
What they say in the onset, fire?
Saying we need sprinklers in the building.
How many square feet is the building?
I forget off the top of my head. I
I
didn't bring the
doubt they
entire...
said that. It's not.
I don't agree with
What's
them,
in
but
the-
I'm
what's
not
in the
doing
building?
it.
Just an office or a garage?
It's strictly an office.
No, I
Oh.
think they suggested. I don't think Captain Snyder would say he makes you do a sprinkler.
Well, I don't
Unless
think,
there's a
I don't think
rule-
they're going to. I think they're going to get away from that one. We're going to demonstrate their access, and then we'll be back before the selectmen. So, I mean, I feel good about the project, but I don't feel good in that if we lose our variances, we got to start over again.
The bottom line, you need an extension on the
I need an extension of the variances, that's all it is.
Troy, you okay with that? I'm fine. Veronica?
I'm fine with that.
I'm good. Richard? I'm fine with that. How long you need an extension for?
Well, to be safe, I'd like to get the 6 months provided for.
All right. Can we get a motion to give an extension on the variance for 54-23 for Ezequiel Lacerda, 3090 Cranberry Highway? An extension for 6 months exactly from today. I guess we have to spell everything for the minutes. Hopefully, everybody writes things down.
So moved.
All right, so the extension will be until, let me see my calendar. Extension will be until January 9, 2026.
Very good, thank you very much.
Okay, so it's moved by Chris, or Rich, was it Chris? Yep. Chris, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy, all in favor to extend it until January 9, 2026, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Christopher?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue public hearing 4-25 RPB 2-2 LLC, 200 Rosebrook.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Paul Matos with Allen, the Major Associates, civil engineer for the project. Our attorney, Paul Haverty, he did submit a continuance request through email. He did it on Monday, but, we wanted to be present to make sure we comply with your guidance and stuff to be here at the meeting to ask for that continuance. So he's in the process of finalizing the draft decision, and he did submit it to the development team. We're just reviewing it, dotting the i's, crossing the t's and stuff, but we should be submitting that shortly, so we're asking for a continuance until July 23rd.
Okay. Do we have an extension on that decision deadline on that? Or can you verbally guarantee us you'll give us one until
Yeah, we'll give you the continuance to the 23rd and the extension on the permit.
23rd?
Yeah,
That's good. Let's do the 24th, the day after.
okay.
Okay, so you verbally give us a decision deadline until July 24th, 2025, and you're requesting a continuance. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Motion by Chris to continue 4-25 RPV-2 LLC Comprehensive Permit /40B 200 Rosebrook Way till July 23rd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Christopher?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. We'll see you then. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Public hearing, 25-25, Jacqueline DeVoe, special permit and a variance on 42 Ash Street. Just gotta give us a minute because our clerk is not here. Let me write my things down. Do you mind reading this notice? I'm doing my thing.
The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on July 9th, 2025, at 6:30 PM in Room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 2525 for a special permit and variance from the requirements of Article 13, Section 1355, 1356, 1357, and 1358 under the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Charles P. DeVoe and Jacqueline DeVoe, trustees of the DeVoe Revocable Trust, Company of Robert Perry Esquire of 191 Main Street, 215, Suite 215, Wareham, Mass.
Name and
Proposing to
addresses.
demo...
I'm sorry.
Still going. Proposing to demo the existing house and construct a new two-story dwelling with a one-car garage and 3 full bathrooms, located at 42 Ash Street, Wareham, Mass., Assessor Map 38, Lot 47, in the R30 zoning district.
Okay, name and address for the record.
My name is Robert Perry, 191 Main Street in Wareham.
All right, what are we doing here?
Okay. The only issue we have here is FAR. These people purchased this house, and it's small. It's really just a cottage on a kind of a strange-shaped lot. They need something better than what they were able to purchase, so they have designed a very nice house to go on the lot. They worked over a long period of time, very hard, to make sure that everything else dealing with this project was in compliance with the bylaws, including, which was very difficult, the lot coverage. But they were able, working with Paul and me and the architect and the engineer, to get the lot coverage down to the same lot coverage that is in existence and has been since day one. The FAR, as I say, is the only issue. And I think the FAR there is probably 30%. Paul says it's 30%. The engineers have on their plan 25, so I put 25 in my letter to the board. But I think it's probably 30. I don't know if it makes a tremendous amount of difference, but I did go through some calculations here, and it's a funny-shaped lot. Part of it is a triangle, and they wouldn't be totally good, but they'd be a heck of a lot better if they had a rectangular lot like the lots in the rest of the neighborhood. And I went through some rough calculations, and I figured that rather than a 4,933 square foot lot, they would have a 5,608 foot square lot, which, whether I take the 25 or the 30, gives them substantially more FAR that they can work with. Now, according to the engineer's plan, and that would be, the first plan that you have, the little one, is the plan for the demolition. And I didn't give you big ones on that. I don't even have big ones on that. But the second plan, and you have large copies, I hope everybody has them. It's like, I brought them down, gave them to Sonia when I originally filed. Exhibit C2, proposed house. On the left-hand side of the plan, it talks to the existing FAR, and I don't think the existing FAR has a lot to do with it. I think when you build on a lot, you get to take advantage of what the bylaw says the then FAR is. But the existing is only 631. The proposed is 2108 for 1,477 difference. When I go through my calculations based on the 30% versus this 25, I come up with the fact that I'm increasing the FAR by 425 square feet over what we would have had with the $5,000, 5,000 square foot plus lot. I'm asking you to find that hardship. I don't think there's any other detriment here in the bylaw in any way, shape, or form. Since I got sick of taking photographs. I gave you some photographs of the big houses on small lots over in Parkwood. And there were so many of them, I got worn out going around taking photos. So I gave you 4 or 5 of them there, and I think they went in here upside down maybe. Well, I don't think it's a detriment to the public good when you look at Parkwood versus what my people are looking to do. You have the architectural plans for the house. It's a beautiful house.
All right. I'll start with, Troy, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Veronica?
I don't really have any questions. Looking at the pictures, it's a pretty significant increase to 2,100 square feet from 631, and looking for a variance to do so. I don't know. I don't see a valid reason to go so big on that size lot. The house looks pretty big in the pictures that's proposed, but that's just my opinion.
Chris?
Well, on that size lot,
Counselor, do you mind? I was just,
oh,
before you...
I'm sorry.
Let me,
I was going to
let's
answer
listen to the
Veronica.
board. That's it. I'll get back to you in a minute. Chris?
So it looks like the building commissioner is saying, you know, the FAR, and it's increasing 19.17% to 42.7%. The allowed percentage is 30. And he also says that the rear deck steps are encroaching.
Yeah, we've eliminated that. We've eliminated the step issue.
Eliminated that. So quite a bit, I guess, on the FAR, it looks like that they're increasing.
Richard, what do you think?
He's also looking for a variance for the nonconformities, right?
I think it's only if it's detrimental, we find it's detrimental to the neighborhood that they would need the variance.
On the whole thing,
I don't
because
have
an
anything.
existing non-conforming, if we think is not detrimental, we could act as a special permit. Isn't that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Because it's existing non-conforming?
If it's existing non-conforming on the FAR, it can be a special permit, but it's not on the FAR, it would be a variance.
You know, my position, though, is on the existing lot size at the 30%, they could go 1,479 square feet on the FAR. And I think they can do it. I don't think they're confined by the old 631.
Say that
They have to
again?
comply with the current zoning bylaw. If they can't, they need a variance.
Okay. So they could do 30%, otherwise, if they want 42, they need
Of
a...
the 4,933 square feet, yes, which is 1,479 square feet. If they didn't have the weird-shaped lot, they'd be up to 1,682 square feet, which the increase we're looking for isn't as significant as it looks like on the engineer's plans.
So the existing dwelling, you're making it like 20 feet away from Ash Street? You cutting it, put it in a backward, put it in the back, or what are you doing? You just, the existing, you add into it?
Yes, yes, pretty much.
So
From
you
the
add
rear of
in
the house, there are some changes, and the sides there are, all within the zoning bylaws. The front of the house, I think, is remaining about where it is it not? Yeah, that's the way I answered the plan.
So the commissioner says that you would need a special permit to demolish and replace the structure. You would also need 2 variances, unless you're saying that one of those is no, you need 2 variances, one for the floor area ratio and the rear setback encroachment, which you said is no longer.
the deck.
That's
they
correct.
cut it off
We
the
removed
back.
that.
Right.
That's gone.
So you need a special permit
need-
and a variance, that's what you're looking
Exactly.
for.
That's what we need. We need to be able to demolish the old house and build a new house.
Now, Counselor, tell me again your theory about the FAR. So they have their footprints 985. They have total 1468. They have total 1468. 30. What's that?
That's what they would be allowed, 1468 based on,
That's coverage. What's the FAR there?
Well, I've got 1479. Oh, I know the difference. If you're looking at the engineering plan, they use the 25 instead of the 30.
They use what, 25?
The engineers, for some reason, end up using 25% instead of 30%. I use,
Big print saying here, maximum lot coverage is allowed 25%. But then looking at these, I'm not getting 25%.
So is the existing coverage 30%? Who's the engineer?
The commissioner says it's 30%.
It's 30% there?
Commissioner is satisfied with the fact that we're entitled to 30%, we have 30%. In fact, we made some serious cutbacks to get that from what they'd like.
All right, so you don't have an issue with the coverage, right?
Don't have an issue with coverage at all, no.
So your issue is FAR.
That's really our only issue, presuming the special permit to tear the house down isn't too much of an issue.
Is this the house? No.
No, that's just another one right in the neighborhood. I gave you a whole bunch of pictures of houses in the neighborhood that are way over on FAR. Of course, admittedly, some of them were done before the bylaw changed to the new bylaw.
I personally don't have a problem with it. I don't know the rest of the board. So how much difference you asking, 1477, how much percentage you asking more on FAR? You know what?
Well, I can give you the percentage right away.
12.7 they're looking for over the exist 30. If 30 is what they want, they're looking for, what's by law, they're looking for 42.7.
They're asking 12%.
Well, I don't think, Veronica, that's actually correct. I mean, I realize what the engineers have on their plan. I don't think it's a correct reflection of the bylaw, though, because I think, what have I got here? I agree with what they've reflected as the FAR.
I'd be interested in, if anybody here from the public,
Let's set the story right at first. So this is 30, all that. FAR is also 30?
Floor area ratio, existing 631, maximum lot coverage. Doesn't actually say on this. That's,
That's the
Coverage.
problem I had. I'm working
What is
off the
this? What's the,
1479, I say they're allowed.
what's the,
If I subtract that from the 2108, that's the difference they're looking for.
You only have 630 square feet now?
Small.
Small?
I mean, the property,
What's your name for the record first?
Charles DeVoe.
And Jacqueline DeVoe.
But you have, what, 631?
I'm looking for an increase of 629 square feet from what's allowed.
That's what you're looking for?
That's all I'm actually looking for.
We're actually using less of the
I didn't
lot
see it.
for the house. And the FAR is a problem because of the second floor. That's where we're gaining more living space.
And they need it. They've got a pig in a poke without it.
All FAR in this area, because everybody doing bigger houses. I've been saying for 5 years to change the FAR, but nobody has changed it. So it's ridiculous the way it is. Nobody built such a small house nowadays. You need more room, but that's my view.
That's the 30% of their lot. They're just,
That's coverage, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's footprint. They okay with that?
But that doesn't add up, I don't understand.
Yes? It doesn't matter, they just showed us. It's about, they plenty confirmed. All right, anyone on the public want to speak in favor of this matter? In favor? I hear not, against?
I
Favor
think
or
we've got
against?
quite a few there.
You would like to come state your name if you're in favor? That's fine. If you don't say, okay, for the record, somebody won't state their name, so. Who's against? Want to come forward? guess they're against that matter. If you're in favor, it don't matter. Just have a seat, please. State your name for the record. Name and address and tell us why you're against.
My name is Teresa Jones. I'm at 38 Ash Street. I'm their next-door neighbor.
Right or, either right or left? If you're looking at
And
the
so
house.
you're looking at the house. I'm on the left-hand
Okay.
side. I have concerns because, first of all, the house has to do with the flood zone. So this house, their house is in a flood zone. My house is not currently. It's within 2 feet of a flood zone. When Hurricane Bob came through, I was within 2 feet of water, of having that water enter my house. Now you're changing the footprint of this house. You're moving the garage, and I'm questioning what type of environmental engineering firm has looked at this to see the impact to neighboring properties.
Okay, couple of things. Anything with flood zone and stuff, it's not our jurisdiction, that's
It's not?
conservation. So you gotta
Okay.
plead your case at conservation. Regarding if it meets building code, because that's gonna need flood vents, flood boards.
Exactly.
This is also, is not our jurisdiction, that's building code jurisdiction, that's the commissioner jurisdiction. The only thing is our jurisdiction is the variance. So you need to tell us how does a variance would impact you and why you think they don't have a hardship or uniqueness, or why the hardship doesn't exist based, the counselor says based on the shape of the lot, topography and soil, he think it's unique, and he doesn't think it's detrimental to the neighborhood because he thinks other houses are as big. So you're gonna prove to us otherwise, or tell us stories otherwise.
Tell a story otherwise.
Right.
Well, the house is, here's a picture of the existing house, which I'm sure you have.
Ma'am,
Here's a picture of my house, where the garage is. Here's the picture of the other side of the house, which is Phillips. So these are small houses on either side of this house. My house happens to look out to what they're planning, where they move the garage up here. So my main living room and my main part of my house looks out that way. The light comes in that way and everything. So having them, I'm trying to figure out how building a house of that size in a square footage, when I bought my house in 1999, owned it in 1988 with my sister-in-laws, my husband and I purchased it in 1999. I did come to the town of Wareham, and I was told it was a non-conforming lot, and I know laws change, and that I could not pop the top because there was not enough square footage on the lot. So now we're asking, they're asking for a much larger house, which has the potential to block some of the light. Yeah, it's an old cottage. You know, that's what Parkwood was, and I understand things move on. But I do have great concerns over the size of the house that's going up, where they're going to be parking, all those things that I personally don't believe have been addressed. When Charlie talked to us on the 4th, it was the first time we were told that they were going to change the footprint of the lot and actually move that garage forward.
Done? Stay right there. The existing garage, you're removing it
Yes.
Yes.
and you're pushing it back.
No, forward.
It's in the back.
I
We're
get your
pushing
turn.
it forward. We're pushing
It's in
it,
the back, you're pushing it
we're
forward.
bringing it forward.
Why are you
Right now,
doing
it's
this?
very close to,
Further over from her house.
right. It's very close to their garage right now.
Oh, you're pushing the garage more backwards.
Well, forward on the
One at a
lot, so
time.
it's,
Forward, but
Who wants to answer?
away from her
You
house.
or him or her?
Would you like a picture, sir?
All right, can I have this, please? And please tell me here, which one, this is the house, this is Ash Street, you here or here? That's Ash Street, I don't know. This is looking at the house, you on the right or the left?
As you look at the house, on the left side.
So you're right here. So this is the garage that concerns you, that's right?
I'm next to the garage.
Okay, very well, thank you.
Okay, so this is my garage. You can see there's
Okay.
setback.
All right.
That garage sits way back in the lot, and the lot goes this way, slants it is at a triangle.
This is their garage or yours?
That's their garage.
Okay. All right, very well. Thank you. So the garage is in the back, you're moving it forward.
We're forward, but about 10 feet further away from her house,
Okay.
in order to comply with existing zoning bylaws and, you know, protect the neighborhood.
Actually, right now, the garage is like 1 foot off the property line. So we've actually,
And you're making a conforming with 10.1
Make
feet.
it conform. Exactly, that's what we're trying
Ma'am,
to
do
do.
you understand this, that the garage going away from your window, actually, they're moving it away from your house,
I understand that.
and they, instead of being 2.5 or 3 feet away from the property, they're giving you 10 feet. Do you understand this?
I understand that, sir.
But I think this is a good approach. Going back to what the town told you back in the day, just to be fair, they did tell you what they just told them just now, that they can't do it, but unless you come to the zoning board, and that's what they did. So if the town told you then, doesn't mean you can't do it. If you had approached the zoning board, which you could still do now if you want to add a second floor or something, you could do the same thing they're doing. So the town is not being biased or sticking to someone, with someone, I guess, somebody.
No, I get it.
It's the same
Laws
story,
change.
trust me,
I
it didn't
understand that,
change.
sir.
So, bring us back to what we're talking about. I strongly believe they're making the house, it's real nice for the neighborhood, and eventually, your house as well as everyone else's house in this area, I know the way the future looking, that in the city nobody can live, it's outrageous, and also the suburbs outrageous. Everybody's gonna come down here, which they've been doing, buying houses and expanding it. And now, this is my opinion, some board member might disagree. This is a 50, 60, 70 years old bylaw. It's bogus, I think, and I've asked many times to change the FAR and the coverage because it's not fair. Back in the day, the whole area was cottages. So
It was.
back in the day, but things changes.
Absolutely.
Things changes. Back in the day, you could buy a triple decker in Braintree and Quincy for 100,000. They 5 million. So things changes. So unfortunately, the bylaw didn't change because nobody's working on it, even though we asked. I think it's a nice house with what they doing. I personally believe they do meet statute requirement of MGL 48, Section 10, which is the variance statute. This is my opinion. Maybe my board member disagree. Do you want to add anything else before we call someone else?
I would just like you to repeat where I would go to have my questions answered regarding the flood zone.
The flood zone, they will have to go to conservation. So you will be, you don't have to go. You're gonna get notified just like you get notified tonight.
Okay,
So when they go apply for the conservation, they will send you see how you receive the card?
Right.
You will get another one like that, and they will invite you to the meeting, and you will go and attend and state your concern, you know? Now, make no mistake, even if that board grant this permit, conservation could well very much say, no, we don't.
right, I understand that.
That regarding the flood board and blow-offs and panels and these, as long as they comply with the building code, the commissioner cannot deny it if they
Right.
deny, okay? That answers your question?
That answered that
Thank you very
question.
much.
Thank you.
Who else want to speak against this matter? Yes, sir. If you guys want to jump in and ask questions, well, I'm telling you can, please.
Greg Jones, 38 Ash Street,
Okay.
the better half.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I just have a couple of quick
You guys
questions.
have two houses?
Yeah,
You have the better half?
exactly. My understanding was on a non-conforming lot, because ours also is,
Non-conforming.
that when you tear down and rebuild, you have to be in the same footprint.
No,
That is,
absolutely not.
okay. So I have a 400-foot square foot garage, that two-car garage there. And when we tear down and build, or the next owner does, because I'm looking at the value of my property.
Right.
When they tear down and rebuild, then that garage can be moved up beside our house and gain the garage plus 400 square feet above it.
If you,
Because that's what's,
if you require a variance,
uh-huh.
you need to do the same thing. If
Right.
you require a special permit, you still have to come here.
No.
If you do the same size and meet setback requirement,
Right.
you still have to come back here. Anything you tear, replace, you have to come here.
No, I understand that.
I'm gonna give you a tip. You can come back here and build an ADU above it. How's that? So you have
what?
an apartment.
Good law.
Accessory dwelling unit.
You could build an apartment above it, so they can. So that they could do that too. So that's a bonus for tonight.
No, I was just asking the question because of the value of the property and so on and so forth.
You could do exactly what they're doing.
I don't have that kind of money. You're too expensive.
You get what you paid for. He's good.
There you go.
But no, honestly and truly, believe me, there's one day you're gonna. I know for a fact that one day you or who, if you ever sell your property, they're gonna be here like they are. So is everybody in town.
I understand.
They're not the only one. You will end up here.
I understand that, and I know that our house is going to be torn down.
Right.
Parkwood is going to look like Oak Street. I understand that.
Oak Street was
Oak Street.
Yeah, Oak Street.
Yeah. What's
Where
on-
Tempest,
I just
where
worked on an
Tempest
Oak Street
Knob is.
case today.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
Tempest
know
Knob.
what you're
That's a
talking
beautiful.
about.
that's where it's going to look like.
And they do
I
a
get that.
beautiful job, to be honest with you.
And emotion has nothing to do with this, but I've been here since '64, and I hate to see it change this way. But
I know.
I get that.
This is not, things
Long
change.
I will
Long
say,
life.
they've been good neighbors, and they're at least quiet, except for the weekends.
Because my house is too small.
Yeah, good.
They can't all be inside.
Right.
Good.
Just for the sake of it, things changes, my friend. If you want to compare it to 64, believe me. I don't know. Yeah, he's here.
No, there's a guy in the back of the camera showing his phone.
Oh, okay. Sir, you taping us? No, you could ask permission, but you can't tape us.
I'm just doing it for my brother. I would get rid of it.
No, it's on TV. You could ask permission. I don't mind you taping, but you ask permission. But it's on TV live.
It's on live TV, and it'll be on YouTube within a week. I think so.
I'll give it, I'll start.
All right, but you could go online and watch it. Your brother could be watching now. All right, and you could always watch it anytime. You just pick the date, and you can review it even from 3 years ago. Who else want to speak on this matter? Against or in favor?
Joe, I just would like to make a comment about FAR, because this is, obviously, it's something that
You
we
guys
talk
gotta be
about.
quiet, so if we want to listen.
It's something
the
that
echo
comes
quick.
up a lot, the FAR and the floor area ratio, and the reason that that bylaw is in place is to control density, obviously partly, and also in neighborhoods such as this, when you have a disparity in huge houses, you have one house that's smaller on one side, and then you build a monstrous house on the other. We see this in onset. We see the problems when people are coming before us because there's no privacy, because it's so high and they can look over. That's when it becomes intrusive. And I do think it's a detriment to the neighborhood to allow disparity with the sizes of the houses and to overgrow these houses. There's a reason that it's that size. The lot is small.
Yeah,
That's-
because it was 1959.
But the
that's
lot
why.
is still small. It's not, in today's standard, the lot is small. That has not changed with time. That is a fact. And I'm just saying
appreciate
that
your
the
opinion,
FAR
but
is there
one has
to
opinion.
control those things. And I don't think that if it is an existing bylaw, regardless of what we think about it, we can't just ignore it. And I do feel like, the neighbor coming up and saying these are significantly smaller houses on either side is an impact. We're going to have a lot of people coming for the dwelling units.
Right.
And so this will come up, but I think we let it take its course. If it does come up, we're going to have more FAR coming before us for these dwelling units, but again, things could go crazy with the dwelling units if we just allow everything to move forward that wants to because they want to, without a valid variance, a valid hardship. And I don't see a valid hardship, other than wanting a bigger house. 631 square feet to over 2,000 is a big jump. And that's not what our bylaw says is allowed.
I totally understand, but these houses, back in the day, if you notice, a lot of people coming from Boston, Braintree, they coming before us, same like this couple, and they want to retire here. Back in the day, this house was like not even $10,000. So the people were able to afford a house on the beach for $10,000 a cottage and live in the city. Nowadays, they retire, their income barely won't even pay their taxes in Braintree or Duxbury or whatever. So they come here, nice town, by the water, and they want to make their house a little bit bigger for their family. They're not asking us for anything special except FAR my opinion, of course you have your opinion, my opinion, it's a lousy law that's been written 70 years ago, whenever it was written. It doesn't make sense nowadays. And believe me, as we see, like you said, everybody's been coming to town and changing the FAR, changing those, and then we're gonna see a lot more for it. And I do personally support it, and even the neighbors, they will be here again.
And I would lastly, I'm sorry to say, but the
That's okay.
FAR, just like we have setbacks, is that defunct because so much time has gone by, we don't have to pay attention to setbacks, they just don't make sense?
No.
FAR doesn't make sense to you, but in the whole scheme of things, setbacks, FAR, lot coverage, they all work together as a whole to create what we have and what are allowed to build on per lot.
I
That's
do
all I'm
believe in
saying.
setbacks. Setbacks should be met, and they doing a lot of effort to make it from 3 feet to 10 feet. I think this is great. They're helping us. They making this is conforming instead of non-conforming.
It's just these oversized
May I say
houses on
one
the
more
lots
thing
that
at this
I don't like and I don't agree with. But that's just my
perfectly-
opinion.
Exactly. It's
Can I
everybody
just-
got an opinion. Yes, ma'am.
May I speak? We've owned the house for 20 years, and we also own a house in Easton. And our retirement goal was to build a better house. This one was built in 1934. So build a better house, to not have to renovate everything inside, to live there full-time. I would love to live in my new house full-time.
I
in
believe you.
Parkwood.
So everybody coming from north,
That's
from
the intent.
near the city, because it's
That's our
crazy
intent.
expensive.
And as far as density, Veronica, they're going from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. Yeah, they're building a bigger kitchen, bigger living room, but they're going only to 2 bedrooms. That doesn't contribute much of anything to density.
All right, why don't we, I think it's enough said. Anyone else on Zoom, ma'am, lady, young lady? Anyone else want to say something? Why don't we just get a feel of the vote before we send you home?
I
Before we
appreciate
pull a
that.
vote? Get a
Yes.
feel. If the board feels so for it, we pull a vote, you go. And you're good to go. If the board feels not good about it, maybe you could make it smaller or whatever. So let's get a feel. Chris, what do you think?
I'm okay with this. I see they're getting rid of 2 nonconformities there on the setbacks with the garage by demolishing the garage. And so they're going to be conforming to all the setbacks. To me, it's just the FAR that they're not conforming with, so I'm okay with this.
He's okay with that. Richard?
I am kind of siding with Veronica. It does seem like with the gambrel roofs and everything, seems like a big house. But at the same time, they are, again, I agree with Chris, Mr. Conti. They have tried. They're not increasing, encroaching too much more. They're pulling it away. They're trying to be a nice neighbor, and they do have a funny shaped lot. Unfortunately, that as life changes, some like bigger and better than others, so I personally, I'm kind of torn with it. I'd like to sleep on it a little bit with it, because I apologize for not having the time this week to look at your proposal. But I'm leaning towards being in favor, but again, I'd like to go around and just kind of, I'm going to take this plan home with me if it's possible, if there's no vote tonight, and just go over it a little better, but I do,
So you want to sleep on it?
I would like to, me personally, but that's just me.
Okay. Sleep on it. Troy?
I am okay with the project.
Veronica?
I'm fine with the special permit, with knocking down the house and rebuilding.
All right, so apparently you have 2 no, so let's sleep on it.
I was going to say, I don't have a problem coming back to
Let's sleep on
23rd.
it. You come back
Mr.
on
Semple would like to look. I just asked him to look through the whole neighborhood and see
Yes.
Believe
the
me,
whole flavor of that neighborhood is at this point in time.
I know Parkwood.
I know you do.
I know Pinehurst.
That was one of my stomping grounds when I was a kid, yeah.
Okay,
I've
let's
done a
get
lot of work in there over the years, so making little
All
cottages
right,
into
well,
big
that's
cottages.
fine, then if the board would continue for the 23rd,
Yeah,
let
can we
Mr.
get a
Semple
motion
take
to
a look,
continue
that's
to
fine.
23rd?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Sample to continue 25-25 for the DeVos, 42 Ash Street till the 23rd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor to continue this matter, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Christopher?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir. I will see you next time. For whoever is here, if you guys want to come back on the 23rd, you will not get notified again. So you won't get a paper in the mail like you did this time.
Just go online, you know, guys know how to do it, get on the town, and you can see the agenda, you can pull it up at any one time. If you just go to ZBA for the town, you'll be able to see everything on the agenda that's coming up.
All right, well, thank you, folks. As
Thank you
usual,
very
I
much.
appreciate your time, and I get to go home and go to bed finally.
There you go. All right, 26-25, Zarcaro, special permit 208R Main Street.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine too. I want to put this one.
What's up, buddy?
Would they
Yeah,
continue
I'll take
to
my mail and go.
7:30?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right. We don't have a meeting on the 30th.
No, it's,
So now we
that's
have
my file.
2 for that
One
date.
more folder somewhere?
I think this is it. It's right here. Wilma, wanna read this?
I want to leave this here because it's
Better believe it.
No, I'm saying, I'm your Highness.
Oh, okay.
my. Thank you.
I think that's the inside. The zoning board of appeals will hold a The zoning board of appeals will hold a public
Let you know.
hearing on July 9th, 2025 at 6:30 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 26-25 for a special permit from the requirements of Article 9, Table 910 and 922 under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Elise Zaccaro of 208R Main Street, Wareham, Mass., seeking a takeout and delivery restaurant, no indoor seating, with 10 seasonal outdoor seats located at 200 Main Street, Wareham, Mass., Assessors Map 47, Lot 1108, in the WV-1R zoning district.
Yes, ma'am. Your name and your address first.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. My name is Elise Zarcaro, and my building restaurant address is 208R Main Street in Wareham, Massachusetts.
What's your address?
My home address is 22 Hideaway Lane, East Wareham.
Okay, very well. So tell us what are you doing?
My business partner and I are looking to open a takeout and delivery restaurant on Main Street, and I am asking for relief from the zoning bylaws for parking.
Right.
I believe we are required to have a total of 5 spots, and because we are downtown, the building does not have physical spots dedicated to it. We are right next door to the public lot.
What's the name of the old restaurant?
Restaurant's name will be Miss Lisa's New Orleans Cuisine.
It used to be...
It used to be the Americana.
Okay, so...
Cafe.
All right, so you know which one. Which one?
Americana Cafe.
That's like a
The inside, the blue
Behind
one?
Brennan's Smoke Shop.
Oh, okay. I saw the one on the road that used to be Scarlet.
No,
Okay,
that's different.
is that place closed now?
It is,
Ah, okay.
at least to my understanding.
Okay, all right. They had good hot dogs, but Anyway, yeah, okay, by special permit, she's allowed, by a special permit, we could grant her this with a waiver or whatever she has. And not to mention, she has the public parking lot in front of her.
Right.
I think it's only fair, the restaurant's been there forever. I don't think it's, the whole town, the whole Main Street is like this, so I don't think it's detrimental to the neighbor. This is my finding, it would be. What do you think? Veronica?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Chris?
I have no problem with it. Did the previous Americana Cafe, did they have to come before the board and get a special permit?
Nobody.
This probably was one of those things, nobody paid attention.
I'm fine with it.
This is such a small place, you
Yeah.
know? Richard.
So I don't have a problem with it, but I do have questions, and I don't know where, maybe one of the board members can point me in the right direction, but I'm still wondering why we have a street closed down across the way from you that it has seating in it.
No, that's a selectman thing to ask.
So I gotta go to the selectmen? All right, well, I guess I'll make an appointment with the
Is it a
selectmen.
legal road, that thing?
This is another restaurant that doesn't own a piece of parking lot, I mean, a parking spot to itself, but yet there's a whole street shut down with chairs and tables out there. And that's our town road. I wanna know,
Yeah, that went out there during COVID, and it's
yeah,
never,
but still, now that went out for
Yeah, yeah.
COVID, but they don't own a parking spot. So this is why I don't have a problem at all granting this, but I would just like to get some explaining done to me to how we can still shut down a town road and put chairs and tables on it.
I would say road commission, and if it's a
Oh, yeah,
road,
yeah.
and selectmen.
Okay, thank you.
Very well. That being said, anyone here in favor of this matter? Anyone against? Anyone on Zoom? None. That being said, do you want to add anything?
No, thank you
Lisa,
very much,
right? You
Mr.
said-
Chair.
Lisa, you said?
Miss Lisa's
Miss
New Orleans
Lisa,
Cuisine.
that's your name? Is your name Lisa?
No, my name is Elise.
Elise,
Miss
okay.
Lisa's the name of my
All right.
Can you tell me-
mother-in-law. Go ahead.
the name of a dish that you're gonna make.
One of our signature dishes is gumbo. We'll also serve jambalaya. He's the executive chef out back there.
I used to live in Louisiana back in the day. They make good combo. I will. Very well. That being said, let's move to close.
So moved.
Motion to close by Richard, this matter 26-25. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Christopher?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. Closed. Wishes?
Thank you.
No, hold on, I'm not done.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented with the
So
standard conditions.
Okay. And the finding is not so detrimental to the neighborhood. That's our findings, Patty.
Yes.
All right, all in favor, that's a motion by Veronica. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. Now you're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Follow up with Sonia.
Luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Shrimp po' boys, too?
Oh, boy, watch out.
Beans and rice every day. Fried catfish every day. Catfish is actually a good fish, so come and see me out.
All right.
Will do. Thank you.
Troy, you second that motion?
Yep.
Anything else, guys, before we close? I hear none. Let's get a motion to adjourn.
So moved, motion.
Motion to adjourn by Richard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Veronica?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Adjourned.